2,501, 2,502,
Wow, try
2,500.
na all, nag-exercise.
2,500. Ah, ikaw bro, ba't hindi ka mag-exercise?
Para saan?
Alam mo kung anong kulang sa'yo bro? Motivation. 2,506, 2,000.
Today, we're going to talk about motivation. I'm Buntag, Matana, Pilipinas. You know, what is your motivation for getting up out of the bed this morning? You know, what is your motivation to go throughout your day? What is your motivation in school? What is your motivation at work? You see, motivation is a big part of our life. What motivates us is what's going to push us to do all the different things that we need to do. Right? For a student, maybe their motivation is just to get good grades or to please their parents or just to graduate with their friends. Maybe the motivation of a coworker is their paycheck. But for us as Christians, what is our motivation? What should be our motivation? Well, in 2 Corinthians chapter 5 and verse 14 to 15, the Bible says, "For Christ's love compels us, because we are convinced that one died for all, and therefore all died. He died for all, that those who live should no longer live for themselves, but for him who died for them and was raised again." The Bible says that our motivation is very simple. It's not heaven. It's not punishment. It's not a fearful expectation of God's judgment of our lives, but it's simply the love of Christ. It says because of Christ's love, that is what should compel us. Even some translations say control us to live a life for Him. The reason why we get up every morning, the reason why we have our quiet time, the reason why we go to church, the reason why we do all the things we do, the reason why we say no to sin, the reason why we persevere through hardship is because of the love of Christ. Another passage that talks about the life that we live for Christ is in Romans chapter 12, and it's one of my favorite passages. In Romans chapter 12 and verse 1, the Bible says, "Therefore I urge you, brothers, in view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as living sacrifices." The Bible says that because of God's mercy, in other words, because God was willing to save us, we should live holy and pleasing lives. That our life is a sacrifice. Not that we destroy our lives or to cut certain parts of our life off, but now everything we do, we live to Christ. It says this is your spiritual act of worship. The Bible says literally everything we do is an act of worship to God. Not just singing songs at church, but even us doing our chores at home. Every single thing we do, even us doing work, even us just doing our daily routine, everything we do ought to be an act of worship toward God. It says, "Do not conform any longer to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, His good, pleasing, and perfect will." You know, the Bible says that every aspect of our life is now meant to be used as a form of worship toward God. That when we do our chores at home, we should do it with all of our heart because of the love of Christ, because it is an act of worship. Not so that we can get some sort of praise from our family or the people around us, but so that we can see, or so that God can see our heart towards Him. We do everything excellently because it is our act of worship. Whether it be at school, whether it be at work, or whether it just be in the home, everything we do is meant to be an act of worship toward God, motivated simply by the love of Christ. You know, in our time of quarantine, there's not much going on. And our different motivations for us before would have been very different. Right? Going out of the house, looking forward to certain different things. But now, us as Christians, our motivation is now boiled down to just simply one thing. And that is the love of Christ. I want to encourage you this morning. I want to challenge you this morning. Really take a sober view of yourself. What is your reason for staying faithful as a Christian? Is it because someone expects you to? Is it because someone you want to please? Or is it simply because of the love of Christ? You know, why do you do the chores that you do at your home? Why do you live the life that you live? Why do you do everything that you do? Is it because you want to use it as an act of worship? Or is it because it's an expectation that someone has placed on you? I want to challenge you to change your perspective this morning, to view every single aspect of your life as an opportunity to worship God, and to be motivated to do it with all of our hearts simply because of the love of Christ. Let us go after being a godly example in our homes because of the love of Christ that compels us, and let us all stay connected. Thank you, and God bless. If you're watching this video, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. If you're interested in a Bible study, message me. If you have any prayer requests, please contact me so we can pray for you. If you're interested in checking out one of our Sunday services, please go onto our Facebook page so that you can check out our schedule. You know, if you're interested in any of those things, I want to help you. Contact me so that we can stay connected to Christ.